Okay, that's better. I can see you now.
Oh, okay, so that's good.
Yeah.
So we start this time over.
Okay.
I think what happened was they said that they wanted me to keep playing reggae music. So
Start it over.
you know what I mean. So we're gonna start it over.
Okay.
We go. And I was wondering, like, it got real like quiet, like the room went blank. I said, "Damn, am I that bad, or is it the picture?" But yeah, but now people starting to flood the room again.
Yeah.
So we
We back.
so we back. So we gonna get back to it. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome. You're now tuned in to the TKB report. I'm your host, K. Langevin, aka Mr. Three Keys, and today's guest is none other than Miss Carlitta Durand. Most recently, put out a project, an incredible project, Kismet Green. We'll get into that. She's featured with everybody. We'll get into that. She's originally from Minnesota, migrated to North Carolina. We'll get into that. I want to call it a plug because in doing my research, you know, you have quite a few fans all over the world. If you do not know who I'm talking about, tuned in with the TKB report is proud to present during Women's History Month, Miss Carlitta Durand. We're gonna try it again.
Thank you.
And I tried to make the second one just as good as the first one. Yeah. So let's get to it. Thank you for coming on. Because I know you're pretty busy. You're a singer, songwriter, producer, actor, mom, you know, wife, I don't know, sister, girlfriend, friend, counselor, therapist.
A little bit of
Welcome to
everything.
the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. It's my honor. It is my privilege to welcome you to your show because this show is all about the artists. It's all about the guests. So this is your show. So welcome to your show.
Thank you.
Now I tried my best to do a wonderful introduction, but briefly tell the people who you are, in the most spectacular, brief fashion that you could.
I mean, you pretty much touched all bases. I'm Carlitta Durand out of North Carolina. I'm a singer and songwriter. Um, yeah, I mean, I've been doing this for about 15 years. I did just release an album, Kismet Green, in November of 2020. I've worked with a lot of people. I'm working on new music already. And I'm just happy to be here.
Well,
Bull City,
welcome
somebody said Bull City.
Bull City.
Yeah, that's
What's Bull
Durham.
City?
Durham,
Okay.
that's Durham's nickname. Yeah.
Shout out to Bull City.
Yeah.
I'm originally from Brick City. You know what I'm saying? If you're not
Okay.
familiar with that, that's North New Jersey.
Yeah.
But so I literally was listening to your album, and before we start, for everybody who's new to the page, I'm K. Langevin, aka Mr. Three Keys. This is tuned in with the TKB report. Make sure you follow at the TKB report and you subscribe to the TKB report YouTube page. So I was listening to Kismet Green for like a month, and I said, "Yo, when I sit down and talk with this young lady, I just felt like a smoker's jacket was appropriate, right?" And I don't
Okay.
smoke, and I felt like a cigar was appropriate. And you can tell I'm not a smoker. I'm not a smoker at all because it's still in the wrapper. You know what I mean? I don't know what kind of cigar this is. Java. I don't know. Shout out to my big bro, gave it to me. I was like, yo, I need to get into a zone, sit back a little bit, and act like I'm smoking. I only smoked one time in my life. It was like in the 5th, 6th grade. I took dry leaves, rolled it up in regular paper, put tape around it, and I lit it
Oh
on
no.
fire. And I got sick as hell, and I said, yo, that was my...
Never again.
Never again. But your music put me in the zone. Put this down. Your music put me in the zone. So I want to start right off with asking about Kismet Green, which led me
Mm-hmm.
to put on this burgundy jacket. Shout out to my brothers. Dev was good in the building. What was the mindset that you were in when you released this album, Kismet
Um,
Green?
well, I worked on it during the pandemic. So it was pretty much when I was making the album and releasing it. It was sort of like my outlet. We were all stuck in the house. This is our first time experiencing anything like this. Um, so it was just kind of a way for me to release and get my thoughts out. And it was almost like I was, it was a journaling. Um, it was kind of my way to get away and do something that made me happy. Um, so I was just writing things that I was going through in the moment. So basically, what I was going through in the pandemic is what you got on the album, like every song.
So the shout out to DJ All Night out of Durham, North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. But
Oh, cool.
so Kismet Green.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I went to college. I didn't finish. I consider myself a fairly intelligent individual. I never heard the term Kismet before. So, and I agree, the album is so dope. So
So
what,
Mari, hi Omari.
so I looked up what Kismet means, and it means fate,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
You must be a scholar, and we're going to get into the HBCU that you attended and all of that. But what made you title this album Kismet Green?
Um, Basically, it was time. Everything aligned right in time for it to happen. So I just felt like it was the fate of me, and it was time for me to put out the album. It had been about 5 years since I released any music, and actually took time to work on music. I had my family, raising children, so that was not music was not my priority. So it was just kismet, perfect timing. It was meant to happen. So kismet seemed like the perfect word. And then I paired it with green. Green is just in reference to like nature, and I'm just things happen the way they're supposed to happen when they're supposed to happen in nature. So kismet green is um, basically things are going to happen when they're going to happen, how they're supposed to happen.
All right, so I can't go any further without mentioning this because I will forget. One of my peoples hit me up earlier today. They was like, "Yo, Kurt, you know, you interviewing like one of my favorite artists, and just make sure you let her know that I still appreciate Doug and Patty." We'll talk about Doug and Patty later. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
that came out a while ago.
that was
But
2009. Yeah.
yeah, so that just speaks to the greatness of your creativity and the greatness of your art, your artistry,
Appreciate that.
that you can sustain a high level of creativity
Right.
for that amount of time.
Man, yeah.
All right, so Kismet Green, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got some interesting features here,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of want to get to the feature with Fonte.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about that song.
Well, I've been working with Little Brother and Foreign Exchange, Fonte, Pooh, all them for years. Just featuring on their projects all the time. Foreign Exchange albums, Fonte's albums, Pooh's album. But I just felt like being that everything was kind of aligning the way I envisioned it to be. It was time for me to get Fonte on one of my albums. And Fonte's a really good friend of mine. Like um he's always saying, whenever to let me know when so I'm just I'm like, okay, all right. But I took this opportunity to hit him up to say, "Yo, now's the time," and he was, of course, just all for it. And the rest is history.
So, so if I'm not mistaken, Fonte is a they're based out of North Carolina,
Yeah, it's
correct?
Fonte. He
I mean, foreign exchange.
yeah, foreign
Okay.
exchange is there in North Carolina. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
In doing my due diligence, I tried to research as much as I possibly could, which is how I came across Doug and Patty.
Hmm.
I noticed that I mentioned in the first intro that like you like the plug. It's just like anybody who needs a feature, a dope feature, can like call you. Like yo, I need a feature for a song. Like yo, call Carlitta. Like yo, I just need somebody to just melody. Yo, call Carlitta. And
Yeah.
speaking to Centric, he was like, yo man, I had an idea for a song, and I reached
Hmm.
out to a promoter in Holland or some European place. He said, "Yo, man, you got to reach out to this singer out in North Carolina,
Oh
Carlita
wow.
Durand. Like, like
I
what
didn't
is
know
it?
that. That's cool.
So, what is it about you and your voice? I mean, talent is one thing, but I heard there's a lot of talented people that are crazy to work with. Like, what do you think it is about you that everybody is willing to work with you?
I don't know. I don't know. I would say that I'm pretty easy to work with, and I believe in talent. And if anybody hits me up and I like what I hear, like I'm down to work with them. I also got that good penmanship, so so I usually write the hooks. For the most part, I usually write all the hooks that I do. So I don't know, and I've been doing it for like over 10 years now, like featured on a lot of people's albums. So I guess I am
You the
the
plug,
yeah.
aka the plug. Your new nickname is the plug. Let's just
So
put it out there now,
Carlita, aka the plug, I
aka
guess.
the plug, right?
Yeah.
So it's crazy that in doing the research, you did a song with who has become one of my favorite MCs in Sky Zoo.
Yeah.
And I was listening to the song that you worked with Sky Zoo earlier
Hmm.
today, and then he was on a live with Torre earlier today, and I'm like, yo, talk about stars aligning and energy and the moons and what was that experience like working with Sky Zoo, and how did that come about?
Oh man, first of all, Sky Zoo is such a great human. He's just a great person. He's very professional. He's super talented. It was a pleasure working with him. That connection actually happened through Ninth Wonder. Um, because Sky Zoo actually was coming down here, working on his album with Ninth Wonder. That was I forget the name of that album, but that's when I met him, and from there forward, we kept in contact. I actually haven't spoken to him in a while, but yeah, that connection was through Ninth Wonder. So
Okay, so when people floss, like when people floss on the show, you gotta hit them. You gotta hit them with this real quick, just real quick, because
I'm flossing.
no, and see, but the thing is, what makes the floss so beautiful when it's humble, like Ninth Wonder is not a local producer. He's not like Ninth Wonder is the real deal.
Oh yeah,
Unless we're talking about a different Ninth Wonder.
no,
So we're not talking about 8+1 Wonder. We're talking about like Ninth Wonder, who
Ninth
has worked
Wonder.
with a lot of people.
Yes.
So is there a relationship there? And when I say floss, I'm not trying to make you seem as if you big
Um,
headed, but it's just that's a big deal right there.
Well, the where I met, Ninth Wonder was he actually was teaching a hip hop class at the university I attended at HBCU. I attended, so I took his class, and that was the first semester and first year he was teaching there, and I think it was 2006. And I also, him being in the group Little Brother. I mean, they, they broke up, but I worked with Little Brother, but that was actually the first time I met him was going to his class at NCCU, and that was a great experience. He actually we started a hip hop initiative class at NCCU. They built a studio. We were always in there. So many like hip hop artists came through there working with him. So that was a great experience. Like I've never experienced anything like that since then.
All right, so I was, I'm jumping all around the place, because I was excited about this. So I kind of,
All good.
so please forgive me. But tell everybody the HBCU that you attended.
North Carolina Central University.
North Carolina Central University.
NCCU, and yep.
Shout out to all the HBCUs out there. You know what I mean?
Shout out to all my Eagles. Yeah.
How did that shape your musical career? Did that have anything to do with you breaking off into being a songstress?
I think it had everything to do with it. I enjoyed attending the NCCU. I've never been too keen or too excited about school, but the connections I had as the networking and the people I met definitely is the reason I'm at where I am today. I met so many great people while I was there, from Ninth Wonder to my friend Focus, who actually introduced me to. I had a manager by the name of Dame back then, and he is the one who introduced me to Fonte. And that was my first time doing a feature on the Little Brother album, and then from there, I just been working ever since.
So I mentioned earlier, Kyle, what you got? So I mentioned to you earlier, not mentioned to you, but mentioned earlier that you started off in Minneapolis and you ended up in North Carolina. Can you talk about the differences of the Minneapolis music scene compared to the North Carolina music scene?
I mean, to be honest, I moved down here at such a young age. I never really experienced the music scene. I moved down here when I was 14.
Okay.
So I didn't really experience it much. So yeah. I mean, one of my biggest influences is from Minnesota, Prince.
And who's that?
Prince, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and that's going to lead me to a question, right? So I was listening to, I want to say Doug and Patty, or it might have been Carlitta's Way, which is an ill name, a dope ass name. And I didn't write the song down, but there's a song, and I'm listening to the song, and I'm like, yo, this song had to be inspired by Prince. Do you have any clue what song
it's
talking
about?
Galaxy
19.
Thank you. That's exactly what it was. Galaxy 19.
Galaxy 19. Yeah.
It reminded me of the scene where I'm going to sing right now for like 2 bars. No, like 2 words. When he's singing "Baby, Baby, Baby" in his high-pitched voice.
Baby, baby,
Thank you. That's exactly what I was thinking. You know what I mean? So, am I right? Am I in the?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
okay.
That definitely was the Galaxy 19 was definitely. I mean, Prince was definitely the inspiration behind that song. Yeah.
I got an ear for me. I can't sing word for damn. I used to be able to sing.
Oh,
probably
for
about,
real? You used to? What happened?
yeah, like 47 years ago. I'm 46. So before I was born, I'm pretty sure that I was singing, you
Oh,
know.
okay. All right. In the womb.
I was singing in the womb before that, right? So, you know, Doug and Patty is some people's favorite you know, music.
Hmm.
You work with foreign exchange, which is I'm starting to find out is like some people's favorite groups. I was talking
Oh
to my
yeah.
baby brother earlier, and he was just saying like the project Tigalero, I think that's the name of it, with Fonte and Eric Roberson
Hmm.
is his favorite works. Like you're affiliated with a lot of people's favorites,
Right.
and you're becoming one of my favorites. Like just listening to Carlita's Way, listening to Kismet Green, I'll Be Gorgeous One Day. I think that was your second
I'll be gorgeous
project.
when I die. Yeah.
You'll be gorgeous when you die. Well, you're gorgeous already. You know what I mean? But
Thanks.
you talked about your pen game earlier. So I'm
Hmm.
assuming that you write like all of your lyrics, and I'm also going to assume
Yes.
that you've written for other people.
Yes.
What's your thoughts on people who don't write their own lyrics? Like, does that really take away from
I don't think so.
their talent?
I think about it like this: people write scripts for actors to perform. Why can't a writer write a song for a singer to perform? I don't. I think it's. I don't see anything wrong with it. I think it's a cool thing. Especially when you start like writing for bigger artists who don't really have time to write. There's a lot of writing teams. You have ghostwriters who Sky Zoo does a lot of writing for other artists. So there's a lot of rappers who get their stuff written for them. So I don't know. It's all artistic. Somebody else might write it for somebody else, but that's okay.
I've never heard it broken down, and I might be old. I got all this gray. I'm really Santa Claus, by the way, but I've never heard it broken down in that way. Like movie directors, they don't fight, they don't shoot, they don't jump out of
Hmm.
windows and buildings and all that, but they write some amazing scripts.
Yeah.
Uh, is it safe to ask you who you've written for in the past?
I haven't really written for any like major stars. I submitted a lot of songs to like Rihanna, Beyonce. Um, I've gotten feedback, but they didn't use any of my songs. So I'm hoping that one day I could write a song for somebody like them.
Well,
But
we're gonna put it out there right now that it's on the way.
oh,
Somebody's sending you somebody's preparing an email right now for you. You know what I
okay,
mean? For you to
I
write on
claim
there.
it.
Exactly. Claim it right now that
Yes.
your lyrics are gonna be on an album that goes diamond.
Okay.
I
All
believe.
right.